and you will know my wrath. If you cross me once, and if you cross me twice, I will blacken the sun. And when I punch you in the face, you'd better thank me. 'Cause I'm dark and MAGA for this MAGA Hat Monday.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
What's good, my people? You're watching the MC Too-Tall Show with your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too-Tall. On this MAGA Hat Monday, we're going to talk about something that's more interesting than anything else. Now, besides Barack Obama being a low-life sack of shit, this is more interesting even than that. My music. The unparalleled greatness of my music and the haters' failure to stop me. Okay. When I started doing music, I basically did it for my own amusement. It was for my own thing, but then people started hearing me. They said, hey, you're pretty good. I started finally coming out of the proverbial shell, if you would want to call it that, when it comes to music, and actually started performing my rap lyrics in front of friends and things like that. I was part of a crew called United Generation, recruited by a gentleman named Robert Blunt, who went by the name MC Spice. And he was the president of the crew, and there was a vice president that called himself MC Funky Fresh, who now refers to himself as Funk Daddy Fresh. Anyway, it was a nice run while it lasted. Basically, it was the duration of my time in 9th grade before people had to move on and go to different high schools and things like that. Back then, junior high school, middle school was more like a junior high school and not an intermediate school, with 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Okay? Now I understand there's intermediate schools with 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. But 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And then you have your high schools with your optional. You could start at 9th grade in high school, and then go in through as freaking a senior. But the reason why I mention that is because that played a big role in things. Had 9th grade been the beginning year of high school instead of the final year of junior high school, probably would have lasted throughout all the high school years. But due to demographics and zoning, who's to say if the crew that we had would have been the crew? Like one one of the guys was set to go to Murrow, and he ended up there. One went to Dewey. He went there. A couple of people were supposed to come with me to Lafayette, but they never got there. They ended up staying there for a day and going to freaking Lincoln. So you see where I'm going with this. You see where I'm going with this. So, I still did my music. I recorded my music at that point. And after a few years, I dropped the Too Tall name and started calling myself by my full name, John A. Krantz. And what that allowed for me to do is that allowed for me to do my instrumentals and my rap songs, which was pretty nice. It gave me a few options, and some of my songs did pretty well in the clubs and things like that. For example, I had a song in 2009 called Feel the Bass, an instrumental song by John A. Krantz, and it did pretty well. Frankie Bones loved it. And would you believe I did it with a little Casio keyboard, and he just freaking loved it. He ate that shit up. He never called my music shit. There was another guy named Dennis who had some connections with Micmac Records. He wanted me on there. But I'm going to tell you this. Things really took off. Things really took off when I met my boys Frank Loretta and Richard Booz, aka Frankie Robo and DJ Spoke. They were DJs. I was an MC that dabbled a little bit with DJing. I did mixtapes up to that point. So together, the three of us started making mixtapes. We started making mixtapes, and a lot of it was like really sick stuff. A lot of it was underground house music, like freaking Armand Van Helden. You heard of him? A lot of Todd Terry stuff. A little bit of commercial stuff like Snap. Richie Smoke. He was into a lot of the reggae stuff. Like he liked Buju Banton, Shabba Ranks, Shaka Demus, and Paris. But he also liked some of like sick obscure techno. And we would do songs that we would try to stay within the genre. But after a while, it started getting more abstract, and like all different genres just piled in there. And I figured, you know what? Since we're gonna be doing that, I might as well, just rap over one of the tracks instead of putting a vocal version of a song on there. So that's what we did. We were doing me and Robo. We were doing a hip hop mix, and then I slipped in. When I got home, with my copy of the mixtape, I'm listening to Scenario Remix. And so what I did was, I said, hey, you know what? I added my freaking crowd noise, added the little Africa, the Soul Sonic Force, yeah, and for that little part there. And so it turned into a sick mix with my voice over it. And back then, you had some artists that would sing a little bit. You had some artists that would sing a little bit and then rap. Like in the early days, you had guys like Sweet G that would do it, but then it started coming back again. Okay, like freaking Diggable. Well, not so much Diggable Planets, but Arrested Development, definitely. Arrested Development was definitely doing that. And Boys to Men were doing it a little bit. Later, many, many years later, Nelly did it, but my thing was before Nelly. Our thing, I should say. Live from Steeplechase Park. And so we put that in there. Live from Steeplechase Park was about as live as Run DMC's Live from the Funhouse, or Cold Crush 4, or I think it was called. Yeah, so it's about as live as that. Crowd noise added, but it sounded pretty cool. Boom, 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 boom. The crowd noise came from a Public Enemy song, at the beginning of the Public Enemy album. The intro there, it takes a nation of millions to hold us back. So it wasn't really taken from a song, it was just taken from the intro of the album. And so that was pretty cool, doing that. So I sang the first two verses and then rapped the third verse. And people were going nuts in the street over that. They loved my shit. So the follow-up was Bring the Drama. Speaking of Public Enemy, Public Enemy's Give It Up was then used. And I waited till these songs were like 4 years old before I recycled them again. Because you gotta wait till a song fades and then you bring it back again with your own twist to it. That's how that shit works. That's how songs last for decades. Because you let them fade out first. You let the latest version of it fade out first, and then you come through with your version or your spin on it. I mean, Good Times was not in the top 10 anymore. Not even in the top 20 anymore by the time Rapper's Delight started hitting the charts. Okay? People had just about forgotten about Good Times by the time Rapper's Delight came up. And that was my philosophy on it. But I waited even longer. I waited literally years. 4 years. Because the Scenario remix was in 92. Live from Steeplechase Park, using that beat, came up in 96. Give It Up was in 94. 98, I came up with Bring the Drama. And that's where I sing the first verse, then rap the second and third verse. Got a little bit more creative there. And so I thought that was pretty cool. And once again, bam. And when CDs started, when I finally got the technology to burn something on a CD, a lot of people were ahead of me in that game. But when I figured out when I finally got the equipment to burn CDs from home, I started burning CDs from home, getting all my old instrumentals and stuff, some of the PHO stuff and everything like that. I was able to get Bring the Drama, not only Bring the Drama, but what's the other one? Live from Steeplechase Park. I was able to take those two, transfer them over to CD. And when I transferred those over to CD, forget about it. I took it overseas. I got people to this day, playing my playing my nearly 30-year-old songs in Cancun, Mexico. Facts, bro, facts. And I would love for somebody to contact me. I would love for one of those people that have been playing my songs in the clubs of Cancun to give me a holler. You know, just give me my flowers, you know? But it is what it is. It is what it is. So, it opened a lot of doors for me. Moving on. I'm moving on because I moved on. I go into burning my own freaking music. I get my own equipment, start making my own instrumentals, and then I start rapping over these instrumentals and stuff like that. And it turns out to be better than ever before. I had my Roland SB404 sampler. I had my had a different Casio keyboard. And I had a few other things. I then got a Fostex. I bought a used Fostex, and then I bought a brand new Tascam. Then I added a microKORG, and I was able to make whole albums and stuff like that. And I started out when launching my solo rap career. I started out with Freddy's. Then I did other freaking venues like Parkside Lounge, Rocky Sullivan's, Otto's Shrunken Head. Otto's Shrunken Head was a big night. I believe that was February 6th, Ronald Reagan's birthday, February 6th, 2009. And that's when Jonesy, shout out to Jonesy from the Bloody Muffs, booked me as part of their set. So I did a couple of songs after the Bloody Muffs, and it was a beautiful freaking night, bro. A beautiful freaking night. And yeah, I had some of the greatest music ever performed. I had some of the greatest music ever performed at Otto's Shrunken Head. I was a frequent guest and guest host on the Ruin Who show. The show was called the Ruin Who show because she would be the host, but she would rotate the guest hosts. And it was a very interesting concept. A couple of times I was the Who, or guest host, and a lot of times I was the guest. So it was a pretty wonderful effing thing to do that. I was able to book Rue for shows. I was able to showcase my stuff, and it would be a beautiful thing. I really used to enjoy doing Rue and Who. And Rue is good people. Shout out to Rue. There's a bunch of other people. Rest in peace to Fran Powers, a box of crayons. Big time shout out to my man Vlad. And Vlad had like the granddaddy festival of them all. He called it Vladapalooza. Now this was like the corner bar version of Ozfest, Vladapalooza. And funny, both he and Ozzy have bands with the name Black in it. Of course, Vlad's band is called Black Death. And they're a great underground punk band. Pretty hardcore stuff. A lot of angst in the music, and it's pretty cool. I enjoy it a lot. And yeah, he opened doors for me because I was at the very first Vladapalooza, and 1 year later I was at Vladapalooza 2 on stage with Vlad himself as part of my backup band. Like he put together a backup band for me. He wanted to be on guitar. You know, he wanted somebody else on guitar. He wanted the best drummer we had in the scene at the time, Joe Filosa, on drums. And yeah, me and Joe fully disagree in politics. But there's no denying Joe's a good drummer. And whether me and Joe are friends online or not, Joe will forever be a friend of mine, and I will always be grateful for him being my drummer and making my live set look good for Vladapalooza in 2007. But 2009 opened a lot of doors for me as well. Shout out to Jonesy again for that, because then I was able to start booking shows regularly at Otto's. I was able to get into the goth scene, and I was able to book events relating to the goth scene. And I was able to mix and mingle that sort of stuff. And I was drawing crowds like you wouldn't believe. I was basically, with no intention to take the game over, there was a big market share coming my way, as far as not just clout and attention, but a lot of moolah involved as well. And I had one of the best DJs in the scene backing me up. I switched from the stupid little sampler with a song in each bank, which was a good start, don't get me wrong. But when you have the option to have a DJ backing you up, this is stupid. So you put this away, use that for your studio recordings, to make your albums. That's great to do that with. But once your songs are polished, you make instrumental versions, turn them over to your DJ, because you have a DJ now. You have him back you up. And I was doing that, and you know, there was some broad I was messing around with that I ended up tying the knot with, that would eventually break. But yeah, this random broad I found out was a go-go dancer. Already had a slutty go-go dancer stage name. So, boom, it became MC Too Tall, DJ Spaz, and then that freaking broad's name. And what happened was, I started having to do vocals and things like that. That's why that broad, that toots, that malfunctioning dishwasher, because she doesn't wash dishes. Yeah, that faulty sandwich maker. I had also doing vocals, and yeah, and she looked cute in the frickin' videos and stuff like that. That's why I did it, and it drew attention. But you know, what can I say? We broke up. She was a faulty sandwich maker. You know, she didn't cook or clean. So what the hell was the point of having it around anymore? Yeah, you know. Plus, it was disrespectful to me. Hence why I'm referring to her in these manners. But enough of that bullshit. We were a team of 3. DJ left, switched. I retrained. I retrained the backup vocalist and dancer to DJ, and put a mic next to her so she could also do the backup vocalings while DJing. We cut out the dancer. I was going to bring in some other broad, but I ended up having that broad host my Elevation dance parties. That other touch was just as bad, if not worse. First of all, when it came to the go-go dancer thing, she was a downgrade. Now, yep, out of these two broads, the person that was less supportive was better looking physically. Let's be real with this. But after a while, this person started drinking her own bath water too. This other broad, the one that I was having host my dance parties. So she started drinking her own damn bath water, thinking she's all that, and she started getting all weird about any type of public association. So you know what? I don't fucking know her. I don't mention her name now. I never heard of her. What do you think of that? So, I think these were all plants to sabotage my career anyway. But I kicked everybody's ass, so it doesn't matter. And I notice these people that dissed my music, whose ass I kicked for dissing my music, and they deserved it. I noticed that they're all Democrats, so fuck the Democrats. Now these people like Hillary Clinton, they like Barack Obama, so fuck Hillary Clinton, fuck Barack Obama, okay? You hate my music, I hate your favorite politicians. That's how that works, and I will stop at nothing. I will try my very best. This is why I do this. I put in extra work, and you keep thinking I'm a nobody, some of you. Go ahead. You could keep thinking that, but it's not going to change the fact that you will have me to blame for when there are 50 fucking Republican governors simultaneously. We're gonna see 50 Republican governors in my lifetime, or at least 47, 48 Republican governors in my lifetime, and that's gonna be awesome. Something's gonna happen where an overwhelming majority of the country, a vast majority of the country, are gonna be Republican, and not for any of your liberal blue head bullshit. And that's why I chose a side in politics. That's why I got involved with politics and chose a side, because I noticed what side in politics the people who hate me and my music are on. So, you people that want me to stick to my music are the same people that dissed my music. I'd rather take the heads off your favorite heads in politics. I'd rather lop the heads off of your favorite figures in politics. Because you guys don't even realize what's going on. And so now it's not even about doing what's right. It's about pissing you off. And you heard it from me. And I'm unapologetic about it. I don't try to mask it as something else. This isn't about... This is all about improvement of my life, which is revenge against you people that dissed my music. And cause people not to listen to me, cause people not to want to even be seen in a picture with me. You guys caused that, and so fuck you people that are scared to be in a picture with me. Fuck you people that diss my music. And fuck your favorite politicians that I know are all Democrats. Oh, and fuck the devil too. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. I'm MC Too Tall.